Hello everybody, this is my 1999 Honda Valkyrie Tourer. Currently I'm in the process of rebuilding the carburetors and getting everything so she runs really well. While I have things apart, my fuel petcock, which I have right here, was leaking, so I rebuilt it. Everything should be good on it now. And the carburetors are almost done. I'm waiting on some dowel pins, and then I can complete assembling them back as a unit. There are 6 carburetors, 1 per cylinder. But what I want to do also is, the Tourer did not come with a fuel gauge, fuel level. See, the Valkyrie also does an Interstate. Now the Interstate has a full fairing, full cowling up front, and it has the full gauge package as well as a radio. This doesn't have any of that. This had indicator lights for coolant temperature and oil pressure. And fuel was, you just ran until you had to switch to reserve, and then you knew, well, you got that much left. So what I did a number of years ago was got a speed hut gauge. And with the speed hut gauge, it has, it's a 4-in-1. Here we've got coolant temperature, voltage, oil pressure, fuel level. Now with the coolant temperature, I just had to replace the switch with a sender. With the oil pressure, actually there was a spare port, so I just installed the pressure sender there, and the voltmeter just hook up to the the keyed volt, hook up to plus and minus. But the fuel level, on the other hand, is a little more involved. So what I did was I purchased the fuel level sender for the Interstate, which has 4 mounting bolts, and an O-ring fits in here, and it goes, and then it does the level of the fuel. One difference between the Tourer and the Interstate is the fuel capacity. The capacity on the Interstate was more. I don't even know how much fuel this holds, but the Interstate holds more. Now, as far as the measurements within here, it should be the same because it's the same frame. It's just the accessories are different. So what I did, my research shows where the sensor, the sender, it goes into the tank, so which goes right here. So what I need to do is I need to make a template of this. I need to make a template of this bracket, of this base, so that I can drill the appropriate holes and install this. This tank is upside down, obviously, so this would go just like this. It's going to sit over here in this half of the tank, and based on fuel level, it's going to give me my level indication on the gauge. So hopefully, my only concern is when trying to feed that in. See, I don't know the capacity, if it's wider here or if it's even taller to allow, because you have to squeak that in there and get it just right, be able to scoot it in there. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. If not, bummer. So that's what I'm gonna do. Hope you like to follow along. So my first step is to make a template of that. I have this piece of cardboard that first I'm going to square up. So I've got a nice edge here that I'm going to work off of. First thing I do is just going to cut that so I get 2 edges. Now I don't really want to cut into my workbench, obviously. So what I'm going to do is use this paint stick, stir stick. Now press up against the edge here, get my square. get out of the way. Now I am going to cut this edge off. So now I should have two edges, so you can see that fits well. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I literally just can turn that over. So I've got my base edge right there. Just need to go right up to the, clean that up. Alright, okay, there we go. Make sure I press it up. Now hold that there. Now, get rid of that. See, so now I have three edges, right angles to each other. That's good. That's good. Let me even show it to you this way. That's good. So now I can get that fourth side. What I could do there now is, since I measured this, I already measured it and I got my sides, I'm going to cut this one to what I need. I don't need to, so let me just mark that, put a divot in there. Okay, now what I want to do is put that pretty much on the paint stick and line it up here. Need to line that puncture up. Alright, and then pressed against the flat. So now what I can do is cut that piece off. So now that measurement should be, yeah, look at that. So now I got to do the same this way. So press it up against that tooth, that jaw. Boom. Now I got to line that up with my square. Line that up with my square. Press it up against. Okay, so let me cut the. Now this should be. Okay, that measures perfectly that way and that way. Good. Now I got to locate the center. So, look at that. So what I'm going to do is corner to corner, and I'm actually going to mark it with this lightly. Now from this corner to that corner, and mark it with the blade. Alright, so that is my center. Get this guy out of the way. Once I've got the center, now I've got to measure that. Let me unlock that. Got my inside dimension. Gotta just be very careful because it is an O-ring. Don't want to put any pressure. Let's see, up a little more. Come on. That's much. Ooh, 41. I think this is 40. I am going to base it on 40 mil. So I'm going to bring that down to 40. Whoops. Very touchy. That close enough. And lock it. Let me check. Yeah, that feels good. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, since it's 40 and I want to get the radius, that will be 20. So let me unlock that and actually go to 20. That's close enough for what we need. Lock that down. Go to the center there. And scribe. Gotta be real careful. Scribe my circle. Look at that. Okay. That works for me. So now, got to cut this out. Probably can't see that, right? I'm right-handed, and that's... Let me bring you over here. Sorry about that noise. Yeah, good enough. So let me cut this out. Start out lightly at first to establish my route, my arc. Slow down, Tom, slow down. No hurry here. You know what? I know it's a little off, but I'm not worried about that. What's important are my 4 mounting holes that... Alright. Yes, I know there'll be many different ways of doing this. This is the way I chose. Now I got a hole. Next step is to feed this through. See, now I've got, let me flip this over. Alright, see, I got flipped over. Now center this. Okay, so that's squared up. Let me mark this hole, this hole, this hole, and that hole. Okay, now I can take this back off. That out of the way. See, now I got my 4 holes located just fine. And I'll make my holes there. Make the holes in this, and then I can transfer these holes, hole markings, to the tank, and I'll go from there.